Rabbi Chaim, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug.
Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. Oh, everybody talk about Doug.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. I'm here today with Rabbi Chaim Jacobs. He is here from Scotland and visiting the Chicago area. I want to welcome you to the show and say Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom, hello.
Rabbi Jacobs is a Lubavitch Shaliach, a messenger of the Lubavitch movement. He runs the Lubavitch in Scotland. And tell me, what city are you from?
Glasgow, Scotland.
And is Glasgow the largest Jewish population in Scotland?
Yes, there's about 6,000 Jews in the Glasgow and surrounding area.
Is there a large Orthodox community, or are you the Orthodox community with a small contingent?
There's about 30 Shomer Shabbos families in and around Glasgow at the moment. Unfortunately, many people who become interested and committed in Judaism, they leave Glasgow and they go and live in the larger cities, or they immigrate to Israel or other places throughout the world.
Are you originally born in Scotland and living there, or was this a move as you were sent by Lubavitch?
No, I was born and bred in London, and I went through the Lubavitch yeshiva system, both in Israel and America, and eventually when I was about to get married, I was often offered a position to take up operating a Lubavitch office in Glasgow, Scotland.
Okay, Rabbi Chaim Jacobs, I'm so glad that you're here. I want you to tell me a little bit about what is the position of a Lubavitch Shaliach, a rabbi that Rabbi Menachem Schneerson of blessed memory, that he would have sent to a certain area as a messenger of Lubavitch to bring people closer to Judaism. What is your position exactly when you come to a community like this for the first time?
Well, I think basically one of the things with Lubavitch is that we try to reach the Jews that nobody else bothers with or even knows about. And I think one of the primary tasks of a Lubavitch Shliach, wherever they are, is to try and seek out those Jews who have no form of commitment, no connection with the Jewish community, but at the same time Lubavitch goes into communities where there is already a Jewish infrastructure, and in those areas they will try to help to enhance and to further develop and build up existing facilities within the community, and at the same time reach out to those Jews who have no connection whatsoever. As we say in Glasgow, we're looking for the vanishing Jews of Scotland.
How long have you yourself been in Glasgow?
We've been in Glasgow for nearly 31 years.
31 years. Was there another Lubavitch rabbi there before you, or were you sent there as a pioneer in the community?
Yeah, we were the pioneering family, the pioneering force of Lubavitch in Glasgow, and our activities have now been enhanced further, not only by myself and my wife, but also by our son, who's 24 years of age, and he's running a unbelievable outreach program in the Jewish community.
You were mentioning that the idea of sending out and setting yourself up in a community, being sent to set up yourself up in a community, is really to bring the Jews that are there closer to Judaism, those who have no connection, those who have little connection, those who are interested but can't find a connection. You're that connection. Do you feel that you've been very successful in a place like Scotland, Glasgow? We're not in a community of 300,000 Jews, such as approximately there is in the Chicagoland area, as you mentioned. Do you feel you've shown great success in the community there?
Well, first of all, the success of Lubavitch worldwide is not measured necessarily by the actual Lubavitch activities, because many of the Lubavitch activities becomes a stimulant, a catalyst to get other organizations and other groups to further enhance their own activities. So therefore, we may start off a nursery school, and as a result of this, the nursery school in the local community, which was there already, will further improve its standard of Jewish and secular education. And similarly, in this day and age where we're living in an age of technology, and you have like a website, you're educating people not only in Glasgow, but throughout the world. You're reaching people through your educational displays that you're putting on the web and so forth.
Do you find that on the internet that you have many responses to your own website? I know you have a website which you can be emailed at LUBOFSCOT, Lubavscott, at AOL.com. Is AOL in Scotland, or you have this account through America?
No, it's in Britain as well, and we have also a website which is lubeofscott.com.
Lubeofscott.com, the same thing as the email.
Almost, yeah.
Do you get many responses on there?
Well, first of all, we get, it's unbelievable the amount of American tourists who are coming, who want to visit Scotland, who are now emailing us and saying what are the Jewish kosher facilities or the synagogue facilities or Jewish mikveh facilities available while we're visiting Scotland, and where we can buy kosher food and so forth, and where are the hotels which are near a synagogue for Shabbat, and where we can get Shabbos accommodation, hospitality. So we're answering probably 3 or 4 emails a week in that direction. And in addition to this, we get all kinds of people. I had just an email the other day from a Jewish boy in Los Angeles, and he wanted me to help him write his bar mitzvah speech.
Interesting, very interesting.
And we're also in touch with Jews in Russia and Jews in throughout the world, in fact.
Really? Do you, in Glasgow, you say that's the largest Jewish community in Scotland, do you have connections to other communities in Scotland as well, where there are Jews?
Look, first of all, in Glasgow there are 6 Orthodox synagogues as well, and there's also a Zionist Jewish day school, and the basic Jewish facilities are available in the community. And we're also in touch with Jews in Edinburgh, which has a small community. There are Jews in Aberdeen, in Dundee, in Inverness, and so forth. There are Jews all round about all over Scotland.
Very, very interesting. I know you mentioned to me before we went on the air that one of your biggest jobs and tasks is educating children, and that you have all of your work is not for profit. That you're doing this certainly as a community service. What really are you looking for? Do you have a Jewish day school that Lubavitch runs, that you and your family run in Glasgow? Are you looking to outreach into the schools that already exist there and outside of Glasgow? What really are you looking for to touch with your educational values and goals?
Well, first of all, my wife is the senior Kodesh teacher at the local Jewish day school, which is run by the local community. In addition to that, Lubavitch itself runs a Hebrew school, what you call in America a Hebrew school or a Sunday school, which has classes once a week for children. And this has been catering for something like 80 to 100 children each week during the course of the year, catering for children ages from 4 right the way through to bar mitzvah classes.
12 or 13
12 or 13 years of age, that's correct.
And do many of these children who get to the age of bar mitzvah 12 and 13 have ceremonies in your synagogue?
Well, I don't have a synagogue of my own, but we organize bar mitzvah ceremonies on a Sunday afternoon, a graduation ceremony on a Sunday afternoon, and all the boys fortunately have a bar mitzvah ceremony in one of the local Orthodox synagogues in the community.
Very nice.
One of the things that we specialized in, which has now become a global effort, is the educational material, which we've now recently been producing.
And are you the author of this material?
Well, my wife and I are the authors and the editors and the typesetters and the graphic artists of all these different books.
And I see here you have, for example, this is a Senior Children's Food Brachos workbook, which has different blessings for different foods on it, the different blessings with the pictures. I see it's very colorful. when we look inside, you can see the different fruits, the different vegetables, and so on. And I see here you have work where people would actually fill in by the certain blessings and match the blessings. How many books have you actually published for Jewish education?
I think maybe should tell you exactly what brought the books about.
Please do.
During the course of time, when the children only come into classes once a week, the major problem that all of us teachers have is how we're going to maximize the time allotted to us, the child's teacher contact time we have in the classroom. And over the years, what we've basically done is we have developed, first of all, we used to work with just odd worksheets, duplicated sheets, then it became photocopied sheets, a sheet from this book, a sheet from that book, and so on and so forth. And at the time, years ago, before the PC came on the scene, this was sufficed to say the least. As time has gone on, things have progressed, and we've now come up with the idea of making books on each subject in a complete unit. So like, for example, if we're teaching brachas, we would teach the children, for example, the information in the class on 1 week. They would be expected to revise over and know, for example, the information, what items we would say the bracha of Hamotzi Lechem in Haaretz over. The following week, when they come back, we would maybe divide the class up, and half the class would maybe be doing Hebrew reading, for example. The other half of the class would be filling in the information about the food brachas and coloring pictures to reinforce this information. And this is we use this same method with all the different subjects. If we're teaching, for example, the up-and-coming festival, if we're teaching Jewish history, it would all be done with the same method. The child would be taught the information in class, sent home with the book to revise. Each child would, at the beginning of the year, be given the various textbooks and go home with the textbooks. And this also enables a child, if they're off 1 week for illness or for whatever the reason they're absent from the class, they can still be told what homework to revise for the following week. And this is definitely an idea which is now catching on worldwide, because we're now shipping books all over the world on the numerous topics which we cover. In fact, we've got now like 45 different books which cover all the festivals, Jewish general knowledge, Jewish history, the food brachas, Shabbos, a complete Bat Chayil, Bar Mitzvah exam syllabus, and so on and so forth. And all our books also come in both Ashkenazi and Sephardi pronunciation. So any Talmud Torah who wants a book with Shabbat and Sukkot, they can have that book. If they want to have it in that tradition, Ashkenaz pronunciation, they can have that
Shabbos
book.
or Sukkot.
That's right, okay. And in addition to that, most of the books are graded in 3 or 4 different levels. So we have a book for 4 and 5-year-olds, for example, on the month of Tishri. We have another book for 6 and 7-year-olds, another book for 8 and 9-year-olds, and we have an advanced book for 10 years plus. And in addition to that, the information is further reinforced with crossroad puzzles, with word searches, with quizzes, and so on and so forth. So there's plenty for the children to do within the class, while maybe a teacher's working with one group of the children in the class. You can, just like in secular, that the children are spreading around, the teacher is spreading around the classroom, the children are all getting on with their own individual particular subject or whatever they're doing. In the same way, we've now developed this type of education within the Hebrew school, which I must say is a first worldwide. There is really no proper formal education material for children attending Hebrew schools or Sunday schools or Cheder classes. There is for Jewish day schools, but not for Hebrew schools. And this is really a first. We're now shipping these books. You name it, I can tell you where we're sending it to.
Wonderful. It sounds like a wonderful thing. I think the most interesting thing here I see is that you have a book in Russian. You've translated these to Russian. You yourself didn't translate them, did you? So I have a Russian student in the community, and he has translated a couple of these books. He comes from St. Petersburg in Russia, and he's translated some of these books, and we're now sending these books into Russian Jewish communities, both in America, Israel, and also back into Russia.
So he's translated a couple of these books on various Jewish subjects.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I want to let our viewers know, if you're interested in seeing some of these books and seeing a catalog about these books, all monies for these books are a donation to Lubavitch Chabad in Glasgow.
Just to cover the expenses of the publication of the
course.
books.
And you can contact us here at taped@mail.com by email, or contact lubofscott@aol.com to contact Rabbi Jacobs, and we'd be happy to pass on the information. Rabbi Jacobs' daughter is here in Chicago,
right.
And I'd be happy to put you.
She has a full set of all the book samples, so any teacher of any Jewish Sundays or parent from any Hebrew school, Orthodox, conservative, reform, traditional, we're happy to supply everybody and help you along to further enhance your Jewish educational efforts.
So it'd be my pleasure to put you in touch, our viewers, with
Sure.
Rabbi Jacobs' daughter, Rabbi Jacobs themselves, to view these. They are wonderful, and we'll take a look at a little bit of them.
Look, these books are reaching Jewish communities in Sydney, Melbourne, Australia, in Auckland and Wellington, New Zealand. They're being distributed in and around the Chicago area. They're on sale in bookstores in New York, and they're used throughout Great Britain. In fact, I've even had inquiries now from Austria to translate some of the books in Austria. They want to use these books, they use the same format and translate to them into the language used locally there.
Let me go back, and our view is having you here as our guest, and find out a little bit about you. I know you were born in England, as you mentioned. Were you raised in an Orthodox home yourself?
I was raised in a traditional Orthodox home. My parents were not connected with Lubavitch, but I went to Lubavitch Hebrew School, and that's how I became involved in things.
Very nice. And in your community, you mentioned that there's approximately six Orthodox synagogues in the community. Obviously, it's a large Jewish community. Probably most of the Orthodox kids go to Jewish day school. A great deal of them. The non-Orthodox and the non-day school children who come to you, do you find that you're bringing the parents closer to Judaism along with that? Do you offer adult education, family education as well?
We do. We have many classes. In fact, that department is run mainly by my son Mendel. He runs the adult education programs in the community and the outreach programs within the community. He also runs a singles program, and he specializes in finding the vanishing Jews of Scotland, as we call it. This is a tremendous effort that he's done over the years to reach out to Jews that nobody else would know about or even bother with.
Does Judaism in Scotland have a similar problem as we do in the United States of intermarriage, assimilation, and so on?
Look, intermarriage is a universal threat. It's the silent Holocaust, which is unfortunately eroding Jewish communities and Jewish families throughout the world. And we need to make major efforts, each and every one of us, both parents, rabbis, teachers, communal leaders. We need to make far greater efforts to try and make inroads to break this silent Holocaust and try and bring Jews back to Judaism, bring them back to love for Torah, love for family values, love for morality, and so on and so forth.
I agree with you 100%. What is your goal for the future? I know you're here in Chicago visiting your daughter and her family on an extended stay. You had the privilege of being able to visit her last year. I'm sure it's not easy to travel to the United States every year when you have a job and a position in the community as you do. What do you do on a yearly basis? Do you travel to other areas as well? Do you have the opportunity to do so? Have you been around the world spreading the word of Lubavitch, spreading the word of Jewish education, and so on?
No, our main during the year, our main goal is in and around Glasgow, taking care of the Jews of Glasgow. If we travel, it's purely either for fundraising or to pick up other ideas. And the goal for the future is like the goal for everybody, that we want Mashiach now. We want to get out of exile. We are looking forward to the coming of Mashiach, who will eventually redeem the whole world and entire civilization,
bring peace.
And bring peace and tranquility to not only to the Jew but even to the Gentile. and this is an era which the whole world realizes that we're not happy with the current situation. We want something better, with higher standards of morality, of respect for other human beings, for human life, and so on and so forth, and that will come, and we're looking forward to that great day. But we and all the listeners and all the viewers here tonight, they can help make that happen by enhancing their efforts in goodness and kindness to help another person, Jew or Gentile, to just do them a favor, to do a mitzvah, to put on tefillin, to make kiddush, to keep Shabbos, to make go to shul on the Shabbos, and so they put a mezuzah on the door, and so on and so forth. Every act of goodness and kindness, the Rabbi Schneerson and the Lubavitch Rebbe always told us, will help bring that ultimate moment closer, and we look forward to seeing that.
Do you find in your community that when people become older and more religious, you said they were moving away, do you find a large exodus on Aliyah to Israel from Glasgow? Do you have a lot of former community members that are living in Israel right now?
Put it this way, there are quite a few, but the biggest problem is that when children finish high school, there is a year in Israel program for the teenagers, and most of them, once they leave Glasgow, they may not settle in Israel, but most of them leave Glasgow, and that is it. It's a loss for Glasgow. But we still have a workable sized community, plenty of Jews to work with, and to work along with, and to educate and to teach, and that's what we're there for. We're there in Glasgow until the time comes to put the lights out.
Do you have a suburban community as Glasgow? Because we don't know Glasgow here in Chicago.
You know the whiskey in Glasgow, don't you?
I'm Scotch.
Scotch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We do know that. Is the community spread out, such as in the suburban community, like here in the Chicago area, or are you really located in the city area? How is it there?
The main Jewish community is located within a radius of about 3 or 4 miles within the Jewish community, but obviously there are pockets of Jews living further afield, further away than those immediate areas. And
are the synagogues also generally in the same community, the larger compact community? Or
yeah, that's where the synagogues are. There's one in the city centre, and then there's 4 or 5 synagogues in and around the suburbs of Glasgow where the Jews live.
I think one thing that people in the United States don't realize is that in many European communities and even Canadian communities and other countries, there isn't the Orthodox, conservative, and Reform movement that are all prominent in the same community, such as here in Chicago. We have many Orthodox synagogues, we have conservative synagogues, we have Reformed synagogues. People are active in all three in their own way. And is it like that in Glasgow as well?
No, in Glasgow, the Jews are members of almost all the Jews are members of an Orthodox synagogue. How they arrive to shul, I always arrive earlier than them, and I always leave on Shabbos later than them, so I don't know how they arrive. But the Reform movement, fortunately, is not very active in the Glasgow area. It's mainly a haven for Jews who unfortunately have married out, rather than actively attracting Jews who believe in the idea of the Reform movement.
The Jews in Glasgow, would you say there were anybody prominent in history, Jews that came from Scotland? That
Well, you have Robbie Burns.
Who is? Tell our viewers.
No, I was saying Robert Burns, but we call him Robbie Burns. Okay, we have Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker,
yeah.
Johnny Walker.
And we have Scotch smoked salmon. Right, okay, but look, all in all, the Glasgow Jewish community has given a tremendous contribution to Jewish life worldwide. There are many Jews today who work in Jewish communities both in Israel and in the diaspora who originate from Glasgow or Edinburgh, and the gain of the community where they are is a loss for Glasgow.
Okay. Going back to Lubavitch for a moment, I'm curious, you're kind of isolated from other Lubavitch communities, being in Glasgow and being the Lubavitch rabbi and shaliach in Glasgow and in Scotland. Is there a strong connection to the the worldwide Lubavitch movement, even though you are really on your own for the most part and isolated like that?
Yes, there is a ongoing contact and communication by email and through faxes from the Lubavitch head office in 770 Eastern Parkway, which is sending you out various materials and different ideas.
Brooklyn, New York.
In Brooklyn, New York, all the time. And one of the things that we have now, I should have told your viewers about, is that on our website we have like various sections of Torah links. So whereas people who are looking for anything of Jewish, a website of Jewish religious interest, they can go onto our website and they've got instant access to 40 or 50 or 60 different Jewish websites, be it to do with Jewish cookery, to do the weekly portion, to do it with the festivals. They've got a complete section of Jewish websites for children, and people can get instantly onto them through Lubavscott at lubavscott.com. It's a very easy access, and you can be in touch with us, and we'll be glad to hear from you anytime by email or by fax and so on and so forth.
Wonderful. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us today, give us a little view of Jewish life in Scotland and in Glasgow, and a little bit of the view of Lubavitch in other places outside of the Chicago area.
Yeah, I'd like just to tell your viewers very briefly, we also have a program where we provide kosher food and hotel accommodation for tourists, and we have a lot of people who are coming through now from America, particularly, who are wanting to play a week's golf, visit the whiskey distilleries and so forth, visit Edinburgh, and they can get a complete range of kosher facilities, kosher foods, Shabbos kit, and everything can be arranged through us if you be in touch with us through our email or through Rabbi Doug here on your program this evening.
Wonderful. You know, I've had the pleasure of seeing you now 2 times in visits to Chicago. I look forward to hopefully being able to maybe come out and take advantage of those accommodations and visit Glasgow myself.
Well, look forward to that, and I hope soon that there should be Lashon Haba Yerushalayim, and we should meet in peace and prosperity for all Jews and for all mankind very soon, and thank you for welcoming.
Amen. I want to thank my guest today, Rabbi Chaim Jacobs of Lubavitch of Scotland. Again, his email, lubofscot@aol.com, Lubavscott, or his website, lubavscott.com. You'd be very, very interested in checking that out if you have the opportunity, I know. And you can always contact us here at taped@mail.com or at our website, taped.web.com. And we hope to see you next week, same time, same place, right here on Taped with Rabbi Doug. Again, thank you to Rabbi Chaim Jacobs, and shalom.
Shalom to you.